Hello friends, once again I'm here with you. It has been quite some time since I shared any video, but then I was very busy, and then during this time when I was busy, actually I was grappling with couple of problems also. I realized that during this difficult time, people can resort to, or they are tempted to resort to different malpractices. So I was just wondering, can we still say that honesty is the best policy? So let's approach this issue. Is honesty still the best policy? And we will approach this as an skeptic economist. Okay. So let's see this, how this is happening. So see, we have very nice model which actually come from game theory and different branches of economics. Uh, their implications can be used for discussing the honest behavior or dishonest behavior. So first question that I am going to pose to everyone is this. This is the first question, that why bad equilibriums are so tempting, and we will define what is a bad equilibrium. Why bad equilibrium are so tempting. So one example of a bad equilibrium, uh, you might have come across people in your office who want to show to their bosses that they are the only person because of whom the organization is running. So they will sit in their office up to late night. Uh, Now, the output and the time spent in office, these can be two different things. There may not be some correlation for such kind of people. Some people can be really great. They are having so much of responsibility that they are sitting late. But then most possibly, they just want to show the boss that I am most working. Another example, and this we will take actually more systematically. You definitely would have traveled at night, and one of the nightmares in night travel is the high beam light that we face from the other vehicles which come onto us. So what's the thing? Let's draw a game where there are two cars. Okay, so we have these two cars. These are coming. This is moving this way along the road, and then there is another car that is coming this way, and both have kept, they can keep high beam like this, blinding each other, or they can keep a low beam that will be like this, so nobody will be blinded and they will happily pass off. So what happens, so I am creating a game where I will assign some particular payoff values to different actions, and actions here are, they can keep their beams high, they can keep their beams low. So only two actions. This is a very simple game. So this is a matrix in which I will show the game. Those who are not aware of the game theory, they will just understand I am trying to follow an easy approach. So this is the car 1, this will be the player 1, this is the car 2, and both have same action, same set of action. This is low beam, this is high beam, low beam and high beam. And let's say that the payoff that comes is like this. We will use utility function. So this is u1. This is low, low means first car is keeping its beam low, second car is keeping its beam low. This is same for both the cars, and this is, let's say, 1, the full utility. They are not feeling any discomfort. Here from when the first car is using high beam while the other car is using low beam, is like this when the second car is using high beam while the first car is using low beam. This uh, we can either put it 1 or we can put slightly more than 1, let's say 1.1. Okay, because when the other person is not using high beam, when you are using high beam, you are seeing the road bright and clear, much better than you can see in the low beam. And this is when both are using high beam. So this should be U1, I'm sorry, U1, U1 high beam, U2 high. So this will be both are getting blinded by each other's beam, and this is 0.25. And similarly there can be U1 L high is equal to U2 L high, and this is 0.5 to the person who is keeping his beam low. He is getting discomfort because he is getting blinded by the other person's beam. Other person is enjoying his beam. So low beam, when both are putting low, the payoff is 1 1. When first person is putting low beam, second person is putting high beam. So first person gets 0.5 while the other person gets 1. Here this person gets 1. We have this 1.1, right? 1.1. So this is 1.1 and comma, this will be low beam second car. So the second car will get 0.5, and when both are keeping high beam, they are going like this. Now you look at this payoff and you can quickly tell me that what will be the outcome of this game. You see that how the car one will think. If I use low beam and the other person also uses low beam, then both of us will get 1 1 and it's fine. But if I use low beam, the other person uses high beam, then I am going to be worse off. And if I use high beam, no matter what the other person does, I will be better off. I won't be worse off. So similarly, the other person also thinks. So what happens that both end up using high beam, and this will be the Nash equilibrium of this game. High. Now you see that this is not a good equilibrium. This is a bad equilibrium, right? They are getting the least possible payoff. We have a better equilibrium, but this is not going to emerge unless we have some force, some rule that ensures that both have to put their beam low when they are crossing each other. So the good equilibrium is not happening, and good bad equilibrium is tempting because playing the bad strategy, the high beam, is a dominant strategy here. Similarly in life, acting dishonest is very tempting because most of the time that is the dominant strategy. So this is the reason why the bad equilibriums are so tempting, because playing bad is dominant. Okay. Now, the second question that we need to pose is this. So, what is wrong? Why cannot we just keep on playing bad? And why should we bother about playing fair? So, why should we play fair at all? So, here again I will borrow from theory in economics, and then the answer that comes, that's actually very interesting answer and one of my favorite concepts. So I will take you towards the market for layman's. This is a celebrated paper written by George Akerlof that fetched him a Nobel Prize. The implications of this paper are immense. So what happens here? Suppose that, again we are taking example of cars. Suppose that in a market there are good cars and then there are not so good cars. So this is a car, and then we need another car here. Ideally, they both should look equal, same, so that you cannot differentiate. So just assume they are same. In economics, we use this thing, or actually, I can simply make them same, make them look same. So how I can do that? I can simply copy and paste. Now they look same, right? So these are two types of car. This is not so good car because it has some problems that only the owner knows. Okay, so these cars are called lemons. This is a second hand car market, and these are good cars. These are called peaches, and only the owner knows that which is good car and which is a bad car, or which is a lemon and which is a peach. Now suppose that a good car demands, a good car can get say rupees 100,000 in market. Okay, a bad car can get say rupees, how much I should put, let's put 25,000 in the market, uh, let's put it something that gives us a round number. So this is fine. Now also assume that you are a buyer and you have no way of finding out whether this is a good car or a bad car. Assume that the probability of getting a good car or a bad car is equal to 0.5. Both are same in numbers, and the probability comes to half, 0.5. So what will happen? The buyer will look at the expected value or expected utility that he will be getting from this purchase. So expected value of this particular car will be, for a buyer, this will be 0.5. The car can be a good one, and with probability 0.5 the car can be a lemon. So we realize that this expected value will be coming out to 75,000, right? Now look at this. The good car commands 100,000, but it's getting only how much? 75,000. So it's falling short of its worth by 25,000. The bad car commands only 50,000, while it is getting how much? It's getting 75,000. It's commanding plus 25,000 extra, right? While here it's commanding 25,000 less. So what will happen? These cars will realize, the good ones will realize that this market is not recognizing their worth, and then they will start moving out of the market. They are moving out, right? So what will happen? The number of good cars will start falling, while the bad cars will realize that they are getting more than what they deserve. So they will start plugging into this market. They will come more and more, and their number will keep on increasing. Now what will happen over time? As the number of bad cars increases, the lemons increases, this probability that was earlier 0.5, it may actually change to now. What will happen? This will be 0.25 into 100,000 plus this will be 0.75 into 50,000, and you see that this value will fall further, and then so long as the bad cars are getting equal to this, greater than equal to this, they will be happy to come in the market, right? Ultimately, what will happen? All the bad cars will be there, all the good cars will be out of the market, and we will be stuck with the bad cars. So, this will be a real bad equilibrium. That is exactly what happens in life. When we don't support good people in whatever walk of life they are, what we are doing? We are discouraging them, we are decreasing the probability that we will encounter another good person in the life. And then ultimately, we are rewarding the bad persons, and then ultimately, the entire situation is crowded with the bad people. Think about the period when your progeny will be entering the game. They will possibly be left with only bad people. Do you really want that? Possibly no. So that's why I think you should agree that honesty is still the best policy. Do you agree or not?